Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me today for another video. So I want to give you what to expect in the month of June. Now I could give you my top 3 baits, tell you about a frog and a deep diving crankbait, and let you go whirl those around the lake all day. But if you don't understand what the fish are doing or what they should be doing or what you need to be looking for this month, then you are really going to struggle with those baits, because those baits aren't necessarily catch a bunch of fish type baits. They're very specific. A deep diving crankbait, you really want your fish to be schooled up and in a line, and a frog bite will dwindle away faster than any other bait. So just giving you those baits is not necessarily sending you in the right direction. I think it's more important to understand what the fish want to do. So in the summer months, we are now what I consider summer. I've never really fished a tournament in June where there weren't fish starting to do what they like to do in the summer. And that biggest thing about that is grouping up in specific areas. So what they've done when they came out of their spawning areas, they kind of trickled out one by one. They're not really in a group when they come out of their spawning areas. They're kind of in a weird mood. They're really hard to find and track. So I don't necessarily if we know what is going on that month, because the fish don't bite. They're shallow a lot of the times. So for those reasons, it's really hard to understand fish behavior. But once they start getting out to summertime spots, and that's not always deep spots, if you're way up a river, they might just be getting in some type of cover. Or if you are, maybe fishing something where you don't have good deep structure, they do other things like get in brush piles and different little things like that. So it's not always about offshore ledge fishing in the summer. There could be bluegill spawning. That's typically when the bluegill start to spawn. So you'll have bass targeting bluegill. So there are a lot of things that happen, but I think the biggest thing to understand is what the fish want to do. So here we go. Fish in the summer months, they want to group up and spend months where they're going. So they find a really likable summertime place that's going to have bait. It's going to be comfortable for them. If it's shade or if it is just deep water with current, whatever it may be, it's going to be a comfortable place, a likable place, and a place that has food. Now, the downside of all this is those type places we know about. We've been fishing them for a long time. There's always a guy sitting on that spot where the fish love to summer. So those spots are very obvious to find. They're places that the fish go every single year. So if you have a history on a lake, you know the community holes, and fish tend to live on community holes. They go out deep where we can see them with our electronics, opposed to when they're in the springtime, they can hide a little bit better because most of the time they're in shallower water. They're out deep. You can see them on side imaging, down scan, obviously forward facing sonar as well, but they like to be in the same area. So now this is all about getting your tackle box out and finding that magic bait. It seems like every 5 or 10 years, it's something different. Back maybe 10 years ago, a swim bait was the best offshore fishing bait. Then it became the drop shot. Then it became the Nico rig. So there's always something different getting thrown in there, a hair jig, this and that. So this is the time of year where I really like to pull out all those crazy topwaters that you may have not fished in a couple years and try that. I think that's very important if you're going to fish shallow in the summer months, is to get every single topwater out of your tackle box, grandpa's tackle box, find a new one at a tackle store that you've never seen, and get out there and try it, because the fish really want a natural presentation. And then you can also go with the old staples. I mean, I've caught some of my best bags with contributions from a frog in the month of June. So it's all about finding those places where they want to group up. And that makes it really easy if you're fishing multiple days or you have a tournament or something like that. You can typically go back to places where you got bit yesterday and catch them today, or you can go to places where you caught them and go there tomorrow, and it's consistent. There's going to be fish there. And what tends to happen this time of year is you may catch a 2.5 pounder off that tree today, and tomorrow there could be a 5 pounder there because there's more fish showing up and they're starting to group up. So very important to realize those things in the summer, because you don't want to spend too much time seeking out new water when you've already found good places. Very important in the summertime. And then you got to also take into the account that it's hot and the fish don't always have to bite because they're in places where there's already an abundance of food. So they may just sit there and not bite for 2 or 3 hours, and then the dinner bell goes off and they bite really good for 30 minutes. So patience is also very important this time of year. But that is it in a nutshell. Get those deep diving crankbaits, those frogs, those flipping baits, and go and look, because it takes you maybe an entire day to find a couple places where the fish are going to use for the next couple months. Then you will have spots you can go to. So try that, guys. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.